College Football X continues. Our X Factor, the man running the anchor leg, Ryan Leaf, Washington State. We're going to talk about what's all across the chest. We got Apple Cup, we got realignment, we got study hall, all this kind of things. Ryan, thanks for hanging out with us here on the X.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about what happened with Apple Cup. Break it down. You got to win, and you get to run out the door and sit there and wave the flag at the folks at Washington. Well, congrats.
Yeah,
19.
Feels really good. No one gave Washington State a chance over the last 2 weeks, I don't think, against an up-and-coming Big 12 team in Texas Tech, and then the University of Washington over in Seattle. And Jake Dickert got this group of players that seemingly no one wanted to great heights. I think it's amazing. I think it really is. It's incredibly shows incredible wherewithal and the focus going forward. I just don't think there's a better person in that chair as a head coach for my alma mater than Jake Dickert. It's remarkable what he's been able to do with this team to have them at 3-0. They should be probably top 15. If Utah's 12 and Oklahoma's 15, then I would argue that Washington State's top 15 team right now too. So the fact that they're not is just kind of shows you what everybody thinks they know. So I'm excited for them. They got a couple great games in the next 2 weeks that really could solidify something. And they could throw a big old grenade into this party that is the first year of the 12-team playoff.
All right, so let's talk about the 12, and it's the resurrection of the Pac-12. It was the 2-pack, now it's a 6-pack, could be an 8-pack, now to a 12-pack. Everything seems to be circling back to where it was when it comes to the conference that you played in.
Yeah, and it was always the case. The delusion that people thought that these athletic directors or commissioner of the Pac-12 were entertaining the ACC or the Big 12 is idiotic. They were never entertaining any other place to go than to rebuild the Pac-12. You know why? Because they just depleted the Mountain West significantly. And I think people are confused around the 12-team playoff. There's no automatic bids. Zero. There are 5 conference champions that are the highest ranked. And now, adding 2 more teams, if that's the case, which I believe they're going to do here rather quickly, they'll be eligible next season. And you almost guarantee that they're going to get a playoff spot simply because their main competition is going to be the American. And I do think they're going after a couple of those teams that are at the very top of that. So you then deplete that, and you're talking about the 5th conference that we're talking about, and that's the one that goes. Now, do they crash the party and get a bye? I find it hard to believe that the committee is going to take a Pac-12 champion over another one of those champions of the other Power 4 conference or something. But who knows? But plain and simple, we're talking about a first-round playoff game in Pullman, in Corvallis, or in Boise, most likely early on, until those other teams start to build up their rosters and can compete like a Boise can year in, year out in that conference. So you imagine Pullman, Washington, December 7th, in walks Tennessee as a 10th ranked team coming to Pullman or Corvallis or Boise. I think it's amazing. I think they knew exactly what they were doing when they got left behind. I think Teresa Gould and these athletic directors, along with the presidents, have been playing chess when everybody else has been playing checkers, plain and simple. And when realignment happens again, because it's going to at some point, they own the Pac-12 brand, and the people that are making the say on who they let in and who they say can't, when some teams may be coming crawling back, they can be petty about it, or they can just take the high road, but understand that they hold something over somebody. So I applaud them and their efforts when hope seemed lost just a year ago.
I'm hearing Memphis. I've heard raiding the Missouri Valley Conference. I've heard Montana being a part of things, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. I'm hearing a lot of stuff now heading in that Pac-12 direction to turn it into a 12 once again.
No, I don't think it's going to get to 12. I think it's going to be 8, maybe 9.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to get to a place where they want divisions. They just want a straight up conference and play everybody. And that's smart. Then you don't have to worry about the committee going, oh, they didn't play Georgia in the East this year or something like that, where you got a bunch of things. I think 8 and 9 is going to be the sweet spot there. No way an FCS school gets in. No way. They're just not competitive enough. They are not big enough, physical enough. That would take years for them to do it. I see Tulane, Memphis are the two out of the American. Wouldn't surprise me if UNLV gets a real hard look the way they're up and coming, the market there with Las Vegas. So those are the ones I'm expecting to take a look at.
3-minute warning. We're playing it in 10 CFL rules here with Ryan Leaf, one of the busiest men in college football. Here is the run of the anchor leg on the X this week. Study hall for you. You're getting ready for Wazoo and San Jose State. What's sticking out so far in the early returns?
Well, I don't have them. I have Purdue, Oregon State this weekend. I'm looking at it as a fan. Short week, Friday night, but the CW. No other game. Standalone opportunity on a Friday night on a national network, I think is going to do big things. And we don't want to see a letdown. And I don't think for a second Coach Dickert and his staff are ever going to let that happen. Or look past them to Boise down the road. It would be just the irony of beating Washington and then maybe beating Boise a week ago, but because you weren't locked in, you get beat by the Spartans who are coming to town.
Right.
I remember when San Jose State came, Colin, in '97. I think we hung 55 on them by halftime. So,
all right, study hall for your game. What are you looking at so far with you this weekend?
Well, two teams that just got the absolute doors blown off them both. Purdue by Notre Dame and Oregon State by their rival Oregon. I called the Oregon State game, and I was surprised a little bit that it was that bad. I was also surprised at how conservative Oregon State was. And maybe they just knew. Maybe they just knew they did not have the horses to compete against the likes of them, which I don't believe to be true, but there was a lot of fear there. And so get out of that game healthy, recoup, and then take on a beat up Big Ten team. So that's the hope, that they take on Purdue and get to feel that energy of winning again. They got to run the football, play good defense, but they have to find a way to become explosive. They just don't have the explosive plays as of yet, and they need to showcase those. Otherwise, when they get into games where you have a fierce opponent on offense that can go up and down the field a little bit, you're not going to be able to match them. And so you got to get turnovers, and you got to be physical, and you got to be explosive somewhere. So those are the biggest things they got to need to work on. As for Purdue, same thing. I mean, they just got absolutely evaporated by Notre Dame. They have to find who they are. Graham Harrell is the offensive coordinator, so there's some very familiar offensive system to me with that. His Texas Tech days, he spent some time at Washington State as well, so he's been out in the Northwest. So long trip for them. Late afternoon, 5:30 Pacific kick there in Corvallis. So excited to get that call. Me and Ted Robinson and Nigel Burton will be on that for the CW.
Looking forward to it. One of the busiest men, audio, video, college football. Ryan, it's great to see you, my friend. Have a great call. Be safe with your travels. We'll catch up with you soon here on the X and everything else here at OSG Sports. Thanks for hanging out.
You bet, man. Thanks for the opportunity.
College football on a budget and the rest of the show coming up right after this.